Boutique hotels are one of the most powerful wealth building tools in real estate, but most people never touch them. Not because they aren't interested, but because they don't understand how they work. They want to buy one, but the path feels vague or confusing or risky. And that's what I'm gonna help break down in this video today, step by step. And I'm Blake Daly. I built 2 boutique hotel companies to multiple 7 figures. So I bought 4 boutique hotels to start and scaled and branded that portfolio with a partner and then sold it and rolled the proceeds into my biggest project yet, a 130 unit hotel and resort with a wedding venue that now outperforms that entire first portfolio by itself. So everything I share on my channel is based on real world experience and insights from what I've learned along the way doing this over 6 hotel projects. When I first made the jump into boutique hotels, I remember sitting there and thinking, like, what now? Or what happens next? And I didn't need more motivation. What I needed was a roadmap, but I didn't have one. So I had created it as I went. So now my channel is a way to give you guys that roadmap to get your first boutique hotel deal faster and with less mistakes. I almost didn't buy my first boutique hotel because I didn't believe that it would work, not from the beginning anyway, or I didn't know what that roadmap is that I'll show you guys today, what that looked like. I specifically remember calling up a friend at the time who had more STRs than me and was arbitraging multiple units in apartment buildings, and I asked him, like, this thing is 8 units. I already had 8 Airbnb units at the time, but they're individual houses. Will that still work? And his response flipped the switch that I needed to move forward. He said, yeah, why wouldn't it work? Almost dismissively, like, dude, why are you overthinking it? As long as you get in at a good price, you'll be able to rent the thing as a hybrid Airbnb boutique hotel just fine. So that made me realize I was way overthinking it. And once I got into it and saw the numbers, then I was sold. Like, that deal led to 4 more over the next year and 6 total now, with the 7th on the way. We'll have details of that when they come. So if you're in real estate right now, whether you're doing Airbnbs or small multis or just browsing deals on LoopNet, you've probably had that moment too. You've seen the returns that boutique hotels can offer and the scale that they come with, right? More units and more money and more scale. And you've heard the buzz around it. But like me in the beginning, you're stuck wondering, like, will this work? Or how does it work? Or where would I even start? Not understanding the sequence that I'll show you guys today is what creates that fear, that hesitation, that uncertainty. And that fear keeps you on the sidelines where you'll never take action, right? And never achieve the goal that you're setting out for. So that's what I want to help you guys eliminate so that you can go take action. And here's the real deal. Boutique hotels are the most overlooked opportunity in real estate right now. While short-term rentals are getting squeezed by regulation and they're capped at the comps of other houses, and they're harder to scale because you have to like stair step your way up one house after another. Boutique hotels scale faster, they earn more, and they give investors, you guys, the control. You have no regulation issues because they're zoned commercial, and they're valued based on the income, not the comps of other properties. So that gives you the control to increase your equity, not having to rely on the market, right? You can increase the income, you can cut expenses, you can drive the marketing, so you have the control of the property. And then you have more revenue from one property, and it can't be commoditized because you're making something unique. Plus, the industry right now is growing super fast for boutique hotels, and they're projected to double within the next decade. And Gen Z and millennial travelers are driving the demand for this experience first, design forward stays, giving you the opportunity to provide something unique that you enjoy, that's fun, that also allows you to use your creativity and ride this appreciation wave that's coming. If you guys are aware of the silver tsunami where 10,000 baby boomers are retiring every day, it becomes pretty apparent that a lot of hotel deals are in the hopper to be sold. So we're looking at more and better deals. So if you're wondering how to get started, not the theory, but the actual steps, this is the video that you're looking for. I'm gonna walk you through the exact chronological steps and that process that I've used to buy my first, and then my second, and then my third, and eventually a $20+ million portfolio of boutique hotels. And this is video 1 of 5 in the Boutique Hotel Playbook, where I want to show you exactly how to buy and run and scale a 7-figure boutique hotel business. And today's episode sets the stage for everything that follows. And stick around to the end for this one, because I'm going to show you guys the step that most investors overlook, but it's the one that creates the most leverage, the most equity, and the biggest long-term upside in this business. So let's walk through it. Here are the 7 stages of the boutique hotel buying process, from your first idea to your opening night. And this is the new checklist. It's the same process that I've taught investors inside the Hotel Launch community, where we've closed 18 deals now and have another 13 that are either active or pending that I followed on every single deal that I've done. All right, so step 1 is define your buy box. And this is where every good deal starts. Like, you define what you're looking for by the location, by the size, the revenue potential, the business model, and the lifestyle fit for you. Think of it as your investment filter. It tells brokers and yourself what's a fit and what's a distraction. So when you're clear on it, it's gonna help you find the right deals and avoid the wrong ones. And heed this, please. There's a fine line between having your criteria dialed in and then letting it limit your search. I often see that the bottleneck for most people is finding the right deal in the first place. So when you create your criteria, stick to it, but don't be so rigid, right, that you miss opportunities. So have areas where you have some give in your search, though it's often easier to keep your criteria and then expand your footprint, meaning just take that same criteria and then look at new markets, like additional places. And just don't be blind to the right opportunity because it wasn't exactly what you're looking for in the beginning, right? So I closed my 130 unit hotel in a market that was new to me and the deal fit my criteria. So then I worked backwards from there to see if the market fit and the overall opportunity made sense. And then we got it closed. Now, number 2 is to source deals. This is where you start to look for and find deals because now you got your criteria set, and you'll find boutique hotel deals through brokers and through your network, through online listings. And don't just scroll through Crexy and LoopNet. Like, you need to build relationships to see real off-market opportunities. And when you get frustrated that you haven't gotten a deal yet, look back at how many deals that you looked at over the last couple weeks. It's usually because you have a problem at the top of the funnel. Like, if you don't look at enough deals, you analyze less, you get less reps in, you build less skill and less confidence. And because of that, you put in less offers, and then it takes longer to get a deal. So if you want to go faster, look at more deals. And notice nowhere in this video have I promised a quick result. Like, this is where the real work is done so you can get the real and the much better rewards from your effort. Like, this is where I see most people stall and why I started Hotel Launch, my boutique hotel mastermind. And in it, there's 2 groups. Runway, which is all about getting your first deal, and then Altitude, which is focused on higher level operators and buying and scaling boutique hotel portfolios. So if you want help, we'd be happy to provide it, and you can check out the link below. But the most important thing, and why I do these videos and show you what to do for free, is to get yourself looking at deals, to get in the reps. Because the more that you look at, the better you're gonna get at recognizing value when you see it. Like, your underwriting gets better, and then you get more confident at putting in offers, and then you spend more time talking with brokers and sellers, and then you get better at deal making because of that. So again, spend the time doing the work to find the deal, and then the other steps in this video and the others on my channel will help with the rest. All right, step 3 is to analyze and make your offer. So this is where you're underwriting based on the income and not the comps, right? That's a keen distinction there. So look at the historical, the profit and loss, or the P&L statements, the average daily rate, the occupancy, the STR comps, the CapEx needs, like how much work has to be done to get the property where you want it to meet the rates that are gonna make your numbers work. Then you make your offer. And here's a really good tip for you guys. Always tie your offer to your specific business plan, not just a price per key, right? Like a higher level gross metric, because what you do with the property is more important than what it's doing now. That basically all flows from your top line revenue potential. So spend the most time analyzing and then understanding what you're gonna be able to charge in your market based on what you're gonna make that property into or turn it into, like with your design, with your amenities, with all that stuff. In commercial real estate, this is where you're gonna see the difference. Like, your offer comes in the form of a letter of intent or an LOI. And the LOI is non-binding, so don't hold yourself up by not putting in one because you don't have all your ducks in a row yet. You can simply Google an LOI template or use ChatGPT to make you one. It's too easy of a thing to get analysis paralysis over. All it is putting in your offer. And just remember, the worst that they can say is no, and then you just move on to the next deal. All right, now step 4 is to secure financing. So this is where most deals live or die. And you'll often need some creative capital, like seller financing or SBA loans or private equity or some short form bridge debt. And whenever you're buying bigger deals, you'll most likely need investors. So you don't need all the money yourself, you just need to know how to stack it. And you don't actually need to have a lot of money yourself to buy a boutique hotel. Like, you can get a SBA loan and do 10% down with that. And that 10% can come from from partners and or investors. If you find a good enough deal, you're going to be able to put the pieces together to make that work. Now with the loan, commercial lenders are going to require a lot out of you, to be transparent. They're going to want a business plan, your history and your track record, your personal financial statements, and some more stuff along the way. And this isn't to scare you guys. I don't say it because of that, because none of it's that hard. It just takes time and needs doing. And again, this is to outline the steps, and we're getting to the fun stuff, I promise. If your plan is to bring on investors, start making those relationships now. All right, now step 5 is your due diligence and closing. So once you get under contract, it's time to validate the deal, right? Like now you inspect the property and get the appraisal done, check permits, make sure you're commercially zoned, and just pressure test your assumptions by going back to your numbers and plugging in the new things that you find along the way. And if everything is good, then you can proceed on to closing. And if there's some issues or some unexpected repairs, just negotiate that into the deal. Again, don't let it hang you up and kill it. Like if you find an undisclosed $50,000 repair, you can go and ask the seller to reduce the price by $50,000, or you can get a credit at closing for that $50K. So due diligence is your chance to make sure that you don't miss anything. So be thorough with it and make it prove your assumptions, like prove out the deal to you that you should be investing in it. And then once you fully vet the deal, then you close clean and confident. All right, now number 6 is one of my favorite parts of the whole process, and it's the renovation and the new branding of the property. So this is where you create a lot of value really fast. So you refresh the property with new design, you add new furnishings, amenities, and so on, right? And then create a name and an aesthetic and a vibe that resonates with your guest avatar, because you're trying to make a property that will resonate with a specific group of people. Not everyone. Like, we're not playing the Hilton and Marriott game, we're doing boutique hotels. So know who you're catering to and create what they want, and thus what they'll pay for. So design the guest experience to match your intended nightly rate, and that's the secret. Now, number 7 is to launch and operate. And you don't just open the doors and hope, right? Please come stay with me. You set up your back-end team, your systems, your SOPs, and then your tech stack so you can manage it all efficiently. And launch with intention, because you want to build momentum from day one and be ready for all the guests that are going to come into the hotel, because you want good reviews coming in from the beginning. Nothing is worse than opening up before you're ready and then you get bad reviews and then you have to climb out of that hole. Like, start with intention and then get your systems and your team dialed in so you can start strong. And here's a good tidbit for you. Engage the community around you and tell your story. Like, if you can get people following along through the process, that's going to make your launch stronger, because you're going to be able to build some anticipation among the people who end up coming to stay. Like, they're going to be your guests. So bring the community along with it, and that'll help open up doors from day one a lot stronger. So that's the journey in a nutshell. Most people complicate it, but it's those 7 steps. And those are really the only 7 that matter for you right now if you're trying to get in your first deal. And here's the most thing that people overlook. Like, it's step 7, how to operate. It's the most important step in the whole process, because to get your operations wrong, you've kind of got a shit show to manage. But if you get your operations right, you don't just own a hotel, you own a scalable hospitality business. And that gives you more freedom, that gives you better margins, and even the potential to build a second asset, your operations company or your opco, your management company. And that could be valued and leveraged or purchased on its own. And that's where we're going next. In the next video, I'm gonna break down exactly how to structure your ops team, even if you're starting out small. If you want to get started in boutique hotel investing, this video just gave you the map. It's those 7 steps, and you don't have to overcomplicate it past that. But the next step is building your team, your system, and your backend so that you can actually run what you buy, right? And you do it without burning out. So that's coming up in the next video, in video 2 of the Boutique Hotel Playbook. So subscribe so you don't miss it. If you're ready to get the support, the community, and my personal playbook for finding and funding and running boutique hotels, check out Hotel Launch at the link below, and let's chat. And with that, I'll see you guys on the next one.